So let's move on to the Joe McDonagh Cup. The results are as follows: Laois 123, Kildare 11. So that's just not what we were expecting from Kildare this year. Offaly 124, 16 points to Kerry, and down 28 points, Carlow 623. So we'll just bring the table up here again from at GA League tables. Offaly are at the top. They're going through. You've got Carlow, Laois, Kerry in the mix as well after that. And then Kildare and Down, they're heading for a relegation clash basically at the end of this season. So, how buzzing are you about this?
Yeah, it's mildly surprised, to be honest with you. I thought Laois coming down from Leinster would be probably making a better charge than they are now. They could still end up in the final. All that lost Offaly the first out has probably really put them on the back foot. Just want to chat about Kildare briefly for a second. So Kildare hit 19 points the first day against Carlow. They conceded 5-23. They scored 3-11 against Offaly. Good bit of it in the second half when the game was done. Conceded 2-22. They scored 14 points against Kerry. Conceded 1-17. Scored 11 points the other day. Like, the wheels have really come off there, and they're in a position now where, like, if they lose to Down, all the talk about, the Kildare hurling rising and Naas been really competitive with Ballyhale and Naas winning an All-Ireland Intermediate is kind of dead in the water if they're back down in the ring again, because they were up in McDonagh. They won the ring a few years ago, got relegated straight away the year after, albeit it wasn't the conventional Joe McDonagh system. It was a little bit different. They went back to the ring, won it straight away comprehensively. They're back in the McDonagh, and they're potentially facing going back down to the ring again, which would be disastrous, and there's no point saying any different. And they're going to be a yo-yo team between two competitions that they really don't want to be. So they're treading a very, very thin line at the moment. But like 11 points is, won't even win you a half a hurling, let alone a full game.
Yeah, like Offaly's scoring difference is very impressive there after 4 games, like winning games by an average of about 8. But Kildare, they're scoring just 16 points per game on average, and they've minus 48 scoring difference. And luckily at the moment for them, we'll see how the game goes when they meet each other. But like Down are just that little bit worse at the moment. But neither of those teams particularly impressing at the moment. Detox 101 says, Shane, what was the hair thing that you were on about, the skin fade? Would you agree to do it as a loser of an upcoming snooker game? But I get the skin fade anyway. So it's like when you get it kind of shaved around here, but there's like different kind of grading of hair all the way down until it gets to more or less kind of really tight that it's skin. But what I was saying when I was tweeting is that you have a lot of GA players at the moment that they've got the hair kind of cut and then down to here, and then all of a sudden it's the most minimal fade. It's probably that, and then it's straight into skin. So it's almost Friar Tuck job.
Friar Tuck, explain.
You know the way, like, do you ever see, like, in Robin Hood, there's Friar Tuck. He's got the big, like, haircut where it comes down. It's almost like a bowl has been put around his head. And then everything is shaven underneath.
The pudding ball.
Huh?
The pudding ball.
Yeah.
There was some mad enough kind of haircuts on show at the weekend. All right, there's lads getting ready for the summer and getting their championship haircut. I know, like, there are certain lads that will get their haircut nearly every week before a match. I get my haircut about 4 times a year, but listen, that's another story.
Even at that, I'm not quite sure you even do it 4 times a year. But Laois, they have recovered well. Like Picky Maher, he scored 10 points. Ross King's, like, he's in good form at the moment from what I can see. He scored 5. Tomas Keys scored 1-1. For Offaly, 13 points for your clubmate Owen Cahill, 2 of those from play. David Nally with 1-1. Are you how impressed are you with Offaly at the moment and the victory over Kerry? Of course, the team that relegated you a few years ago, but 124-16 seems like he controlled the game.
Yeah, very impressive and pretty disciplined, because Kerry were getting hot and heavy at different stages, very, very physical at different times. Like, there's really only been a score. Remember, David Nally scored a sideline to beat Kerry in the league earlier on this year in I don't know if it was the league semi-final or the group stages. Offaly have really kicked on, and the most probably the most pleasing part of it is when you look at S&C. Offaly have been kicking on in the last quarter games, which wouldn't have been said before. And what's the greatest probably differential between Liam McCarthy Cup teams and maybe Joe McDonagh Christy Ring Cup teams is being able to keep going and going and going and going and going. There's always an S&C deficit. So that's really, really pleasing. Yeah, Owen Cahill was very, very good again. Probably wasn't, he wasn't as good maybe as he was in round 1 or 2, but still very, very effective. Jason Sampson going back centre back has been a big, big move. I think you said it after they played Kilkenny in the Walsh Cup earlier on this year, and you said you were impressed with him. I wasn't sure whether it would work long term, because he would have played in goals a bit and he would have played up in attack, but he wouldn't have really ever played centre back. But he's just really solid there. Really, really solid. He's he's just always in the right positions, and he's that forward instinct of always giving a good ball outside or playing the right pass outside. And his brother has been very, very impressive on the wing as well. Ben Keneally kind of floats around the defence, picks up, can play cornerback, can play wing back, depending on who they want him to pick up. And Kieran Burke has been real solid at full back. So yeah, all good going into that last round.
Boom Boom 43 talking about your hair 4 times a year when the neighbour is shearing sheep.
Boom. Boom, boom.
P174 says that Kerry hurling is always physical, and Fla says Offaly could have a nice cut at Dublin if they got that draw. Obviously, this is talking about the preliminary All-Ireland quarter-final.
Yeah, but
Dublin will win by at least 10, I'd say.
Dublin to be in a preliminary quarter-final. Yes. No, I don't think Dublin will win by at least 10 now.
I'm confirming to you now, Dublin will win by at least 10.
If we'd a full deck, that'd be if we'd a full deck, that would be the closest preliminary quarter-final since Laois beat Dublin in 19, I'd say.
Sure, aren't I telling you now that Dublin would win by at least 10? You won't listen to me.
Good man. What's your rationale?
That Dublin have the physicality and the pace and the power, and ultimately that would wear you down.
I wouldn't say they have the attack that could really hurt us now. That'd be an interesting game. Yeah, listen, we're going to be in the preliminary quarter final either way. It's just a matter of who we're going to be playing. So hopefully, we can win the thing. I don't know if it's one thing you get through to a preliminary quarter final. You don't want to be getting to a preliminary quarter final having lost to McDonagh. Want to get up having won it.
Do you think Offaly will put out a bit of a bogey team the next day? Just to get Carlow into the final and then bet him.
Is that game this weekend? Because the 20s are playing on Wednesday night. That would rule probably Charlie Mitchell out. I don't know.
Carlow Offaly is the 13th. Yeah, it's next weekend. Yeah, you'd be dead right to just put out a second 15.
It probably takes the integrity of the competition into a bit of question then, doesn't it? Laois wouldn't be too happy, but listen, we won't be doing Laois any favours anyway, I can tell you that.
Yeah, Leon Keegan says, give it to him, Bernie. Typical Tipperary man hates Offaly. And I'm wearing an Offaly jersey. OurGame.com, by the way.
But you don't respect us. In time you will.
Well, look at what P174 says. Preliminary quarter-final against Tip, maybe. I'd be happy enough with that.
Yeah, I know you would.
How would you feel about that?
So if Dublin would beat us by 10 in a quarter-final, what Tipperary beat us by?
15?
You're saying Tip are only 5 points better than Dublin?
Well, I'm just saying that they're different types of teams. But would you be happy with a 15-point loss against Tipperary?
No. But I think we could be very, very competitive against Dublin. Tipperary are a couple of steps ahead of us. No point in saying any different.
Would you take a 15-point defeat if it was handed to you beforehand?
No way. Not
so
on a Monday Sundays. No way.
So congratulations to Derry for winning the under-20 All-Ireland B Championship. They beat Roscommon 3-17-2-14 the other day, so that's a big result for them, and delighted for them.
Just a quick one, Shane, just to go through the permutations of McDonagh here. So Offaly are into the final. Carlow are assured of a place in the final if they can beat Offaly in the last game. Laois need a win against Kerry, and they need for Carlow not to beat Offaly. Kerry need to win against Laois, and they need Offaly to win. So there's still 14, there's still 3 teams in with a chance of being in the final. So it's still it's a fascinating conclusion. You wonder, this is the thing about the integrity of the competition here in a way. Offaly have earned the right to do whatever they want to do for that last round game. Realistically, yeah. So, I think they'll probably mix. Anyone that's carrying any sort of a knock will not play, and probably their 3 or 4 marquee men will not start, I'd say, because basically you want them fit for the final.
What an opportunity to try. Carlow have to win the game, so they're going to put out their strongest team, and you get a fair opportunity to see how they set up, how they do this, how they do that. Whereas obviously Carlow don't have that same luxury throughout the game. So it really is advantage Offaly heading into the latter stages of the Joe McDonagh Cup.